with the theme justice or else. And enlighten us as to why we need to be wary of how we celebrate holidays.
Well, the one thing about it, holidays are set up for money. That's all. There's no reason to have a holiday. When it comes to 4th of July and everything like that, you have to realize the 4th of July and Independence Day was not nothing to do with black folk because you were still enslaved. All right. And Frederick Douglass spoke about that and said it may be something you can do, but for us to be this, it's a horrible, horrible time. Now, when it comes down to Halloween, that has nothing to do with you. That was a day that was ritualistic when it came down to people that were doing demonic things. That's what it was all about. And they picked that holiday up and made it Halloween. So it was something that would draw money. Thanksgiving, you give thanks every day. It had nothing to do with you. And the Indians, when they gave the Pilgrims land, they loaned them land, so you can sit here and build your crop. After a while, they didn't have America.
Right.
So what it is,
they loaned them an anchor.
That's right.
And next thing you looked up, and the whole country was gone.
That's right. They took everything. I'm telling you. So what it was, that's what that was all about. That Thanksgiving is a bit much, and the poor turkeys. And they said that the Indians showed them how to raise corn and do things like that, and they did. They did. And once they did that, they took over. After a while, they had no place to grow their corn. When it came down to Veterans Day, now Veterans Day is a bit much. Veterans Day is every war that America has fought.
Many of them against us.
That's right. But when we fought, let me tell you one thing. When Washington fought his war, he did not want black people in his war and said it. And they did not, they waited almost 2 or 3 years before they would allow black people in. And that was because blacks were going over to the British. The British offered them freedom.
That's right.
And they were doing it. Then Washington said, look, we better let the black folk in too. Because we do need help. Right. And we helped them win this war.
Same thing happened in the War of 1812. And people need to read the Star Spangled Banner and understand what Francis Scott Key really felt about you fighting on behalf of the British.
Exactly. And what they did, and when it came down to the War of 1812 and the First World War, all those wars where black people came in. I'll never forget the First World War. The First World War, they sent black troops into France to fight, not to really fight, but to be laborers. That's what it was. You had no reason to fight because Pershing sent them over there untrained. Sent them over there. When he sent them over there, he said, they're going to help you build the fortifications. They're going to help you dig holes. That's what they're going to do. The French realized that they needed help. They gave training to the black troops, and they fought like wildcats. They called them the Hellcats when they came out of New York. Yeah. And the Germans even said they fight like wild people. We can't fight with them. But what it was, they got so many different awards. They got the coup de grace, which one of the highest things that France could give. When Pershing got over there, Pershing looked at him and said, do not give those black people those awards, because when they get back to America, they're nothing but the N-word.
Right, and it's funny because there's a book that I want people to, and you can probably download this book on Google so you don't have to go buy it. It's by Lathrop Stoddard. It was written in 1920, and it's actually to build on your point. It's called The Rising Tide of Color Against the White World Supremacy. And one of the things that European leaders and white supremacists were really upset about was when black folks got to fight in World War I, it changed, and it really is, if you want to understand where the civil rights and black power movement really gets its impetus from, is from those returning soldiers who fought in World War I and II, who learned that white men can die and bleed and cry.
That's right.
And so Lathrop Stoddard wrote a book called The Rising Tide of Color, The Threat Against White World Supremacy. And actually, if you want to understand that book, if you want to understand the movie The Great Gatsby or the book The Great Gatsby, you got to understand its relationship to this, because they actually mention this book in the movie. And it's the lament that white men in power had for letting black men fight in World War I and World War II, and learning that white men are not all powerful. They're not Superman, that they actually can be killed, and they can be killed by us.
Exactly.
And then that sentiment of those brothers who learned their manhood in that war and came back home and said, there's no way I'm going to have gone overseas and killed on your behalf, white men, and then come back here and bow down to a white man. And that's where that spirit of resistance and rebellion really took hold, that became later the Civil Rights Movement, the Black Panther Party, the Deacons of Defense, and all of that kind of stuff.
I remember when they first found out that Haiti had won her independence. She won her independence and held off 3 armies.
That's right.
Beat them back. Now, when they did that, that glory and that liberty spread all over the world. And that's one thing they did not want. Right. And when it got to America, America began to have things like Denmark VC, Nat Turner, all those guys begin to rise up because they say, hey, we can do this.
That's right.
We can do this.
That's the spark of the revolution.
Yeah,
and that's why we got to. So again, if we're celebrating those veterans, our veterans who fought on our behalf on that day, that's
and
one
died
thing.
On our behalf.
But the problem is that's not really who we're celebrating. So again, as we enter into, we're celebrating those wars in many ways that were fought against us, not those ones we fought on our own behalf. So again, in the spirit of the holidays, Mama Ragsdale, I just want to come back to you and see if there's anything you want to add to this conversation before we go to break.
Well, I do, because as my husband said, we have fought in every American war since the time of the Revolution, fought valiantly. And you need to know your history, because history repeats itself. And if we're not careful, we're already on the strategy of having history repeat itself on us. That's why it's so important for us to know from whence we came. A lot of us don't like to talk about slavery because it makes us feel bad. But nothing should turn you away from knowing your history, because it will help explain to you, and particularly to your children, who we are and why we are the way we are, and what we need to do to turn things around. Regarding the holidays, we know what the true history is regarding many of these holidays. We have to do more and be more conscious of how we spend our money. And nothing hurts me more than watching these parents going out here and spending their hard-earned money purchasing clothes for their children to wear on the one Sunday that they go to church and on Easter.
That's right.
Or for the toys that they buy on Christmas. We've actually been called by Minister Farrakhan to not go and spend our money on Black Friday. I hope that we will heed that lesson, because imagine if we all took heed and follow what he's asking us to do.
Well, we're trying to do our part here to really get that message out. We really are. And so, but like I say, also not just who we don't spend our money with, but who we choose to spend our money with. And so in that vein, one more time, please let people know how they can support the Lest We Forget Black Holocaust and Slavery Museum.
Well, the one thing also we're doing is, like Gwen said, the books and the magazines and the DVDs. We're also building a tunnel of remembrance. And that tunnel of remembrance is going to house about 8,500 names. And if you call the museum, we can give you the information. And not only that, there is a name inscription that if you call and get a brochure, we will show you we'll put your name on it, put your name in the tunnel. When your name goes in the tunnel, your name will glow in the dark. You must come and purchase a brick. We asking everyone, white, black, and indifferent, let's get a brick. Let's do this. Let's make this happen in our lifetime. Let's do something.
Right. So if you've ever brought a star and named it after yourself, there's your chance to actually buy a brick that's actually yours. You can claim this brick. You can't claim that star. So if you put your money into a star or something else that they done sold you, hey, let's support your name being in the brick that can be the cornerstone and the foundation for the forward movement and the strong building of the Lest We Forget Black Holocaust and Slavery Museum. Again, that's located at
3650 Richmond Street, 19143 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
And the phone number is?
It's 215-397-6060 and 215-205-4324.
And that's www.lwfsm.com. Thank you, Mama and Baba. Appreciate it, and see you next month. And I'll be in touch with you all throughout this month about ways I can support the donation and all the other stuff that you all do there, because I'm a firm supporter of what you do. This is Eric Keith Grimes, Brother Shomari. This is the Shomari Show. We will talk to you after these messages.